Oh boy, there we are. Hello everybody. We're here. We're like not quite an hour late, but it's fine. It's Halloween. I didn't eat at all between starting my session before this, so I needed food. So hello everybody. Welcome back. This is the Wireheads podcast. It's Halloween, and we are here to talk some spooky cyberpunk shit with you. Of course, my name, for those of you just joining us for the first time this week, if you are finding us, my name is Emmerron, and I am a Cyberpunk Red GM over on StartPlaying. I do some stream games. We just wrapped one up last week for Neon Inferno Season 2. I'm taking a small break right now through some of the holidays to allow myself time to rest, recover, and write some new shit. But yeah, we'll be back to that very soon. And of course, joining me, as always, is my co-host.
Hello, everybody. I'm Diamond Dust, Netrunner VTuber, and also a fellow professional GM. I run Black Spark on Wednesday nights. And of course, all you guys who celebrate Happy All Hallow Eve. And I guess I'm going to get, no, I'm not going to spare you these puns. I got me some goulash and some garlic bread to keep the vampires away, and also some blessed water. Also, to everyone else, I'm so sorry. Except you, Nyla. You get to have these puns. Don't ask for a refund. There is no refund.
Don't torture the poor man. He had a fucking antenna dropped on his car today.
That's the real horror story, was watching what was about to happen. Like what was about to go down.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I never heard murder in someone's voice until then.
For those of you wondering what the hell we're talking about, we started Reaping the Reaper last week on my StartPlaying game. Today we continued through the second kind of section of that adventure, and it was fun. Our solo decided to get on the very roof of everything and cut down the radio antenna at the very top with explosives, and well, he didn't specify which direction he was sending it off. So I rolled a d10, and well,
you rolled a 10.
It rolled onto Nyla's car.
Yeah, at times. And like by the time we got down there, this Nomad Flash was just like, oh.
He was.
Yeah, you could hear the icy cold murder in that voice.
He was mucho angry. He was not happy. But it was fun. We had a great time. And he's like, so what'd you guys think of my role play? And I was like, I thought you were genuinely mad as hell. So I'm going to give you 80 IP because you fooled me. Like, genuinely, I thought he was pissed. It's like, holy shit. Yeah, it was a great time. Muse on the final fight of Reaping the Reaper. Ran out of time for the week. Finishing next Thursday for the combat. Bet. Good shit. I'm excited for you.
I lost my entire crew the first time I did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Today they kind of stomped all over the combat I prepared for them, but
well, I mean, look, we were just a little prepared.
You were.
A little.
Yeah. You were fairly prepared. So guys, this is my half of the episode. So for those of you who are watching this on Spotify and Twitch, we are starting off with me this week. It is an odd episode after all. I'm an odd person, so welcome. What are we going to talk about? So some of you are probably going to drop memes on this and say like, oh man, Emmerron, are you more like Internet Explorer? Like what do you mean we're talking about the Halloween Screamsheets? Those came out a year ago. You're right. Good on you keeping track of time, random internet citizen. We're talking about them all the same. It is Halloween today, and we haven't talked about them yet on Wireheads. I think Diamond and I have talked a little about them in our own space. I know, Diamond, you've definitely made videos about it. It's more me that I'm like, I don't know if I talked about this.
I've made mention of them, not a full video.
Fair enough.
I guess the present's never a better time.
Yeah, right. So we're going to talk about them because we thought it's Halloween. We don't have a ton of spooky topics to discuss tonight. And they are good. The adventures contained in the Screamsheets are very, very good. I highly, highly recommend checking them out if you're a GM because they're all written quite well. And as a GM who, prior to this thing being a thing, made his own Vendit-inspired adventure, I admire the fact that there's another writer out there who appreciates Vendits as a central plot MacGuffin. So
hats off to, once again, the legendary Melissa Wong, who wrote all three of these. So it's just like, yeah. So do we want to kick off with the, speaking of Vendits, do we want to kick off with number one then?
Yeah, because I mean, we'll just do them in order. I don't see any reason why not to. So for reference, just because I know we usually will tell you this when we go through DLC, this one is shockingly short. It's been weird lately, actually, with how many long DLCs we've gotten. We've gotten, like, this year, it feels like almost every DLC this year has been like a minimum of like 15 pages. And very, very few of those
was a short one.
I guess that's right. The vast majority this year, though, have been quite long. Like, we've only had one or two that were really, like, not that lengthy.
Yeah.
So this is only 10 pages, which for 3 adventures is going to sound to some of you, I'm sure, like, what do you mean? Like, considering most of the Tales of the Red stories that are in both books, really, are usually like double that for a single adventure. These are Screamsheets. Screamsheets aren't meant to be horribly long. They are meant to be like quick, succinct, 1 to 2 pages, kind of in and out, we're done. You know, as a great scientist once said, in and out, 20 minutes, we're done, right?
So 20 minutes. Yeah. Quick adventure.
So, with that in mind, the first of the 3 that are in this document, this 10-page document, so all of these are led with like a newspaper article section. You know, if you've seen the Screamsheets and other things, you'll know this general structure. And then 2 pages, more like a page and a half of actual stuff for like the plot, the GM info, all of that sort of stuff. So the Haunted Vendit, and for those of you in my StartPlaying groups who might be watching, like Pepper Jack, don't worry, like we're probably not going to run these in those settings unless you're worried about playing them at a different time. But the Haunted Vendit, I suppose I'm not going to read through it like verbatim because I would like for all of you to go check this out yourselves. But the Haunted Vendit kind of is just fun because it starts with a exec in the mobile disbursement contractor control department of Continental Brands getting the crew on board for a sweet paying gig. The pun is intended, apparently. An unlicensed Vendit painted in Continental Brands livery has popped up on the Night City University campus selling bootleg sodas. Continental Brands has fined and censured their NCU mobile disbursement contractor, but they claim to be neither behind the rogue Vendit nor to know who is. Intelligence gathered indicates that the unlicensed Vendit is someone else's creation and attacks anyone trying to disable it. And the fun part is that it appears to be wandering around campus on its own accord. So this is where the crew comes in, being better equipped than someone who took the Continental Brands Vendit Service Training Seminar. The Edgerunners are to find, disable, or destroy the rogue Vendit and turn what hardware remains over to Continental Brands for analysis. There will be a bonus if they also identify or capture whoever unleashed the renegade vending machine. Ms. Snapdragon vehemently denies all rumors regarding the machine, including those suggesting it is a guerrilla marketing campaign by Continental Brands, or more absurdly, those involving the Vendit being haunted by either ghost or rogue AI. So that is the intro. That is all I'm going to read about it. That's what you as players would hear about this. The premise for this is wonderfully goofy. It is so fun, but it's like, it reminds me strongly of the Brendan quest. Anything with Vendits reminds me of the Brendan quest. So, Diamond, I know the answer to this, but I'd be curious if you would fill in for our audience. What does a Vendit have that it may use to attack people that would be pursuing it or looking to, I don't know, seek it harm, rustle out some free snacks or drinks? What do Vendits have at their disposal?
All right, you fucking Doombas. If any of you guys were watching Eddies and Elflines, and remember the stickball episode against the Little Europe 7, how all it took was, one good hard slap against the Vendit, and suddenly, boom, you now have a flamethrower. Vendits are armed with flamethrowers, and I wouldn't be opposed to putting other weaponry on Vendits as well.
I think they've talked about there's some Vendits that do employ alternate weaponry at the behest of corporations and things. It's like a custom thing that they do, but they can absolutely use other weapons.
I have like the Vendits over at Ziggurat. Ziggurat, they don't like the idea of flamethrowers around really, really important equipment.
Yeah.
So they instead allow for bludgeoning to happen.
Oh god, I'm just imagining shoves Vendit, gets clobbered in the head by something. Because how do you have that set up with those? So how do they apply bludgeoning damage?
Basically, there is in the center panel there is a leg. Leg swings up. Leg does 3d6 damage, and leg swings twice. Non-lethal damage, it's just a stun baton. So for any lads out there, do not harass the Vendits and Ziggurat. Your bits and kibble will thank you.
So Ziggurat's solution was tase the genitals. Got it.
It's not specifically aimed for that. It was originally the leg. But people just happen to stand right in the spot where, it is.
Yeah, right. I'm sure that wasn't at all an engineer's design. Not at all their intention. Absolutely
engineers
not.
Just want to have a little fun.
Oh my god.
And then, Zarafa's just it has the security feature of the cars of nomads. If you know where the Vendits are, you're gonna find the Vendits. Otherwise, you won't see the Vendits on the work site, so that means you won't get distracted.
It's fair enough.
And then if you try to abuse the Vendits, you get 66 electrical damage.
Oh, see, because I'm just thinking about it. Imagine, right? You're a new Ziggurat employee, and your coworker takes gullible little you, right? The greenhorn on the shift. It says, yeah, so you know how Vendits usually have a flamethrower in them? Yeah, well, do you think they would really be stupid enough to put a flamethrower in the Vendits here? Like, we got some sensitive shit. There's no way they'd let us, light that on fire. Like, they don't have a flamethrower in them. So what do you think they do? They don't have anything. Hell, I saw Jerry last week. He just kicked it. It spat out a bag of fucking popcorn flavored kibble. Really? Like that for free? Yeah. Why don't you go try it?
Oh,
this would be the hazing of the new guy. Like,
this would be very much new guy learns not to trust anyone.
Exactly.
The Biotechnica Vendit have blood swarms.
Oh, yeah. See, I like that. That is good. Because you're right. They also have some shit that you probably wouldn't want to set on fire for a variety of reasons.
Yep.
That's great. Oh, man. But yeah, Could see a Vendit configured like the robots in Interstellar. Yes! The TARS just like running around. Yeah. Elegantly rotating its sidearms. Dude, I think this one is set up on treads, if I remember right.
Yeah, treads or like wheels. But I did something with this adventure, by the way, Emmerron, that really just I like it. A lot of my players, they were college students, and Emmerron, I don't know if you ever had this happen while you were in college, but do you guys ever just have either like an animal or a certain thing that just shows up, and like over time, it's just kind of gotten a name?
Yes. Oh, 100%. Yes.
So the campus community has named said Vendit Caden, and Caden is welcome in the dormitories.
That's funny.
And if you don't know how to navigate the dormitories at NCU, which are an absolute nightmare to navigate because everyone's crowded in there, good luck trying to find Caden. And when the edge runners tried to explain, yeah, we need to find Caden, it's like, why do you want to find Caden? Yeah, it took a lot of persuasion and pressure to get them to give up where Caden is.
That's so fun. Oh my god.
Back bonding with the machine.
That's hilarious. It's so funny too because they in the document here, because everything in Cyberpunk obviously is D10s and D6s with the ever so occasional D100, right? I love how they do the random flavor thing here because there's just 4 flavors, but they make you roll a D100 because Cyberpunk doesn't use D4s. So if you are someone with a D4 handy, which I think most TTRPG enthusiasts have one, I think all of us have at least one polyhedral set lying around, regardless of what we use in a given game. You could roll a D4 to determine random flavor that this thing distributes. On the flip, though, if you don't have any, just roll your D100, and it's set into 4 quarters, basically. So you have like one result is 1 through 25, 26 through 50, 51 through 75, and 76 through 100. So yeah.
So looking at this though, I also noticed one other thing in the scream sheet itself. Okay, so we know in the core rulebook, Continental Brands CEO is Olivia Forsyth. All right.
Right.
However, they mentioned in here to the Fizz fans, people that happen to be a fan of Treaty Fizz, that they could possibly win an all expense paid week-long trip out to the Tulsa, Oklahoma headquarters to meet Elizabeth Forsyth. And I'm just sitting here just like nobody's corrected this after a year. And I'm just like, is this part of the conspiracy about there being doubles of Olivia? Did somebody accidentally let the cat out of the bag? Jay Gray, I need answers.
Yeah, if we have
I know you're listening, Jay.
If we have RTG staff members in the chat this week, I know we did because we were talking about Hope Reborn a few weeks ago, but if you're here, please give us clarity or further vagueness on whether this is Olivia's clone or not.
Please. Let this conspiracy be real. Don't let this just be a fucking typo.
Look, all I'm saying is if you don't clarify it today, in a month, we will be talking about this with you at PAX U. Both of us will be there. We don't forget these sorts of things.
We never forget.
We never forget. So, but yeah, I love this gig. I love this gig. It's so charming.
Apparently, the quote-unquote fake sodas that are released from these machines taste better than Treaty Fizz. Huh.
It's beautiful. Don't you love it when someone actually puts heart and soul into something and it actually tastes better? What a concept.
That's
this
fine.
Is also
now keep drinking your chemicals.
This is also one of the few gigs that I've seen in Screamsheet form that makes no reference to outside stat blocks. It's got the one stat block it uses for the Vendit is in the sheet itself, which is very, very rare. Yeah. I don't see that very often.
Oh, And also, depending on the endings that you might choose for this, because this is a very sandboxy gig,
Yes.
you might possibly, have a bigger benefit for yourself.
That's
or
true.
bandits. I mean, oh gosh, wouldn't that be convenient? Right in the middle of battle, just a bandit come fucking rolling through with the exact ammunition you need.
Especially if you give it like a TARS personality, right? Just like, hello, ma'am. I've brought you the very heavy ammo you requested. Armor piercing, of course. I brought you your very heavy pistol, 45 ACP rounds. Armor piercing, of course. Oh my god.
Look, asshole, you want your soda? Just fucking launches the soda at full speed out the slot. Look, I need to make a piranha with a fucking rifle that's actually a can launcher. It just does like
they would be the gang to do it too. Oh my god, that's actually
it's just like you set it to low pressure to send the can flying without destroying the can. But if you really want to fuck somebody up.
You make it
hit by a soda can at full speed?
It hurts like hell. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
5d6 bludgeoning damage.
Well, what I was about to suggest, 5 is probably still fair. But I was about to suggest, was you make a exotic grenade launcher that's similar to an air pistol, right?
Oh, okay.
It cannot fire conventional ammunition because it's based on pneumatics instead of it being like a striker like you would typically get. But it can fire anything that is in the approximate diameter of a grenade. Which is,
technically like Nomad Rocker in a sense, possibly.
Technically.
But a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
I'd say maybe it fires on the assault rifle table compared to the would it be assault rifle table?
No, I think I'd still roll it on heavy weapons. I think I'd still roll it heavy weapons because it would make sense because it's very different than most other guns would be. Still make it heavy weapons. But yeah, it just it's funny as hell. Just all of a sudden you're like, all right, here we go. Taste my Spud Gun 9000. Thunk. It's fun. So yeah. So that is the first Scream Sheet where you're chasing a haunted, quote unquote, vendetta around campus. It's when I say it reminds me a ton of Brendan, I mean that in all the best ways. It is a Brendan-esque vendetta mission. It's super fun. So the next one is Vampires versus Atoms. So Diamond, if you would, please take us through this one.
See, this is the one I haven't had a chance to run, but I've read through it. So we have the Sinful Atoms, which is a small poser gang, based off a very iconic television family from back in the day, the Addams Family. But then we also have, of course, the Philharmonic Vampires, which what makes this so weird is the Philharmonic Vampires tend to be a prank gang, tend to be for the most part harmless and don't tend to do malicious shit. So what they're doing tonight's really out of line. With this job, you are hired by Gomez of the I think it's Gomez that brings you on board for this one.
Let's see. Ophelia is the one who brings you on board.
Okay, Ophelia Adams offers you guys a crew to do event security for a Halloween party that the Adams put on. Basically, the Adams put on a carnival every Halloween, and apparently in the previous year, the vampires absolutely ruined their little foray.
Sounds very vampires.
They've been, but it seems like this October they've just been crashing Halloween parties all, all year. And so, the Adams want you guys to deal with the vampires, but not in a lethal manner. So, they don't have a desire to injure or kill anyone, but what you're basically dealing with is you are pulling this. You are doing a security gig, but dealing with people that are absolutely hell bent on causing mayhem, and I like in this case, there's a bunch of different games that are also offered up, but they will show what the vampires may do at these different events that the carnival's trying to host. What the vampires might do to sabotage it. So it's up to you as a crew to figure out how to manhandle these pranksters out of the carnival without, causing, a loud disruption of gunfire, especially in Pacifica Playground. Because the corporate security of that place will not take lightly to gunfire on their turf. And looking at this, I think they use the same stat block that they did in Night at the Opera as well.
I can pull it up side by side. Give me 2 seconds. I can actually confirm that.
Yeah.
Go back here, click there, go to NPC stat blocks. Philharmonic Vampire Mook. 6654667277. Yeah, well, no, actually, there is a small difference here. So it looks like they equipped the Philharmonic Vampires. So their stats and their skills, by and large here, appear to be the same, with the exception that...
a gun.
Yeah, well, they are given a gun, they're given rubber bullets, and they are given a base 12 in their handgun skill, which makes sense considering their melee weapons are 12 already. So yeah, that makes plenty of sense. Yeah. So overall, very, very similar stat block at the very least.
Yeah. Also, like for the most part, if you have party members that are like really good at like brawling or like grabbing hold of folks, I think Faisal's Dead or Alive would come handy here with the net launcher. Or like if you use your pop-up, or I don't know, is there pop-up? I think there's a pop-up net launcher as well.
Maybe. I know that the Dead or Alive definitely though. Like that.
Yeah.
100% would work.
Because the Dead or Alive looks like a pneumatic net launcher is what it looks like. But from what it looks like, think Hilaria 2045. But not as violent, not as lethal, and all in all, you are literally just. I don't know how else to put it besides this is probably the tamest security gig that you probably that's probably written, but it's very much more you are trying to keep like the peace with a couple of gangs in this situation. Oh yeah. Ophelia asks that the vampires are to be captured, so the sinful Adams can put them on display in a pillar. So putting them in stocks. I like that. I like that. So.
Yeah. So looking over. So it's not in the core rulebook. We don't have a pop-up net launcher.
I think it's Black Chrome.
I'm looking right now. I don't think so though. Let me see if I go to cyberware. Chipware. We have Flashbulb, which is something similar.
Okay, I
Modular
thought there was
fingers. Wait, nope. Yeah, there it is. Pop-up net launcher. You got it right. It was Pursuit Security brand. 500 eddies, HL7, 2d6 clinic. Every good bounty hunter knows sometimes you need to bring him back alive. When you want to stuff something absolutely non-lethal into your cyberarm, try Pursuit Security Inc.'s pop-up net launcher. So it is a cyberarm option requiring 3 option slots. It's an exotic one-handed net launcher installed in the cyberarm, holding 1 net in magazine and fires out 1 ROF using shoulder arms and the shotgun slug range table, except it cannot hit a target farther than 25 meters or yards away. The net launcher can be successfully concealed without a check and can be drawn and stowed without an action. While the weapon's popped up, the user can't hold anything in the arm's hand. On a hit, net grapples. Only 1 net can grapple a target at a time. While grappled, they cannot use their move action. They cannot make use of a weapon that requires 2 hands. Takes a -2 to all physical actions as long as they remain in the net. Net has 15 HP, destroyed beyond repair when it reaches 0. Firing a ranged weapon into a deployed net from outside of it will equally damage the net and target grappled by it. Escaping the net requires a DV-13 contortionist check, which can only be attempted by the target inside the net, or a DV-13 brawling check, which can be attempted by anyone. Succeeding at either of these destroys the net beyond repair. Replacement nets are 50 eddies each. So yeah, they do have one. The Dead or Alive would also work, though, considering then you could just load the real gun side of that with rubber bullets and be more or less set.
And, some of the different events that you'll be dealing with here. The Tent of Lust, a gaudily decorated with family-friendly, if somewhat risque, contortionists, fire breathers, dancers gyrating to droning goth punk music. Okay, so it seems that the Atoms are basically putting on circus performances alongside this carnival. Fitting. The vampires crashing the tent will parody the acts with bad mimery and must be driven out. So I got a feeling this might not be a bad spot for those that are a little bit more into the theatrics of things to really play it up, catching these guys. Get the rocker boys could probably actually really benefit from this gig, in a sense. We got the Bloodbath, which is a clawfoot bathtub full of food-safe resin, which the vampires will jump into a backstroke. Oh, right in the punch bowl. Come on,
right
man.
In the punch bowl. Yeah.
Oh.
The next one made me laugh, so I have to read this. So the next one's the Gaming Ground. Very simple atoms tend to non-rigged versions of carnival games, such as a shooting booth and the Coconut Shy. There's even a lovingly refurbished whack-a-mole console with the moles dressed up as zombies. The gate-crashing vampires will try to steal all prizes on display. Yes, even the meter-long goth unicorn plushie. Save the Gothicorn. Gothicorn is one of my favorite things I've read in the last few weeks.
Okay, so we've learned of another item. Interesting.
The Gothicorn.
See, I feel like any vampire that's coming in here though deserves a rubber grenade bullet, just 66 right to the body. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look, that are beanbag round. Have you, Emmerron? You've never been hit by a beanbag round? I've been hit by a beanbag round.
No. I've been slugged by someone throwing a beanbag at me, and I know that that's nowhere near as bad, and that already hurt like hell. So I can't imagine what a beanbag round is like. That probably is way worse.
I was getting trained on beanbag rounds at the last company I was at, and the trainer aimed a little low and accidentally hit below my abdomen, and it will send you reeling. What else we got? DIY Goth Contest, where contestants are displaying costumes, and of course the Philharmonics will be shoving the actual contestants out of the way. Oh my gosh, being real fucking obnoxious. My goodness,
yeah.
When you meet them in Night of the Opera, they don't seem that obnoxious.
No, but to be fair, they're defending their home against a murderous group of like actual killers. So it makes sense that the tone of that would be very different than this, which is where they're like, hey, hold my smash, watch this. Jumps into the punch bowl, shoves people off of a pageant stage. Like, yeah, that feels like a prankster gang. If you were telling me there's a prankster gang, this feels like a prankster gang.
So, a fake cave made out of recycled pallets and sprays. The sinful atoms are handing out candy to visitors under 18. Animatronic bats flit around through here. The vampires are going to grab as much... Oh, they're really taking candy for kids. Oh, these guys taking candy for kids. What the fuck?
I love this. Save the candy, save the children. That is so good. Yeah, no. That's the Greedy Ghoul's Grotto, in case that didn't come across to anybody, because I don't know if Diamond mentioned it or not. But
they're knock it over, Porta Johns. What the
restrooms. Roll Porta Johns provide relief. The vampires attempt to flip the blocky cubicles over, prioritizing occupied ones. They even like wait to see where you will go and then flip that one in particular. Halt the deluge of sewage. I love it. Horrible. Oh my god. Next we got the haunted house, a deconsecrated chapel from when the boneyard was a garden of rest. This modest building serves as the Simple Atoms meeting hall. For the carnival, it has been renovated into a spooky haunted house. Gibbets forged out of scrap metal contain zombie actors who reach out and groan at unsuspecting visitors. The vampires will try to burst in through the back door and turn the lights on, ruining the effect. Wow. It's funny, as much as taking candy from children and doing some of this other obnoxious shit is like, that is to me this is the one that would, if it were me, other than the Porta John would probably piss me off the most. This is a close second though. Like, bro, why are you doing that?
Well, not only that, they're crossing into the Adams territory, basically. They're getting on Adams turf.
Right. Well, yeah. 100%.
Dance floor. This large, dimly lit tent has a small stage on it. On stage, a DJ and the Sinful Atoms house band, the Harrowers, take turns entertaining the crowds of slowly swaying goth dancers. The dancers are especially careful not to tangle their facial and body piercing. Wow. I know some friends that would feel called out by that. Not to tangle their facial and body piercings in each other's fishnet attire. One of the invading vampires will attempt to drown out the band by playing classical music on a portable amp with their agent.
This will start a volume war.
So, in this case, then, you get the tech or the netrunner with the breacher. Shut that shit down.
Yeah.
Employees only. This large tent serves as a dressing room where the Sinful Atoms costume crew helps performers don their outfits for the festivals. The marauding vampires will barge in and attempt to rip pasties and prosthetics off I've had mine ripped off at a drag show before.
Look,
no.
All I'm saying is they don't want us to kill them. But I do not think brain hemorrhaging is lethal all the time. So,
they don't want us to injure them either.
Man, if I caught people doing this shit, I would be hurting someone. Like, what do they think rubber rounds are going to do though? Rubber rounds are going to injure them. Like, what do they mean? Don't injure them. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Taking the mission. Let's see. Ophelia asks the vampires to be captured if possible so Sinful Atoms can put them on display in pillory to entertain the masses. Aid their mission. The goth gang will provide the headrunners with seasonally appropriate goth makeovers, zip ties, and rubber bullets if needed, and a boo box, a walkie-talkie. Ophelia cannot personally aid the crew as she'll be busy with the fight bouts in the Ring of Wrath, but she has every confidence in their ability. So they don't say don't harm them. It just says don't kill them, which is very different because, yeah, if I saw them in here, look, I'd be smacking them upside the head with something bludgeoning, like 100%.
Yeah, like, just give me a, I guess in this case, just a foam-lined baseball bat. Because, like, just a thin layer of padding, just enough to not, well, actually, stun baton. I mean, they're only wearing leather, just bang!
Just, exactly.
The last one for all those McDonald's workers and Burger King workers of the past, they had the kids, like, area. The jack-o'-lantern pit, a large above-ground swimming pool, padded at the bottom and filled with little plastic balls painted like jack-o'-lanterns for the visitors to dive into. You don't want to know what the vampires have planned here. Stop them. I think I know what the vampires have planned here. That's kind of fucking gross.
Me too. Yeah, no, that's awful. That's atrocious. Don't do that shit. Literally. So yeah, this one's really fun. I mean, I think that this adventure sounds like actually, I might want to run this for one of my IRL groups. If not this year, because we're at Halloween. Definitely next year. I kind of want to maybe look into running that. That could be a fun time.
Yeah. And also, there are 3 vampires for every edge runner. I would just like to note that. So if you're a crew of 6... oh, fuck.
Yeah. That's a lot. So the next one... well, the next one also has a Halloween-themed Gunmart ad saying, protect yourselves from werewolves with the Gunmart special. I don't think so, Gunmart. No, I don't think I will. Thank you. So...
silver bullet?
Yeah, silver bullet out of the shittiest polymer handgun I can get. Yeah, that seems like a fantastically bad idea. This adventure is called An American Werewolf in Watson, which this one, it's really funny. This is probably the most classical Halloween horror kind of vibe out of any of these 3. Like the first 2 are kind of silly, goofy. This one's actually got a more serious tone to it of the 3.
I ran this one here earlier this month.
Yeah. Do we have werewolf stat blocks? We do not have werewolf stat blocks as such. We do, however, have, I believe, a wolf bioexotic in Exotics of 2045. So you could make one pretty easily.
We have gosh, if I had a I won't talk about it, but like if I had $1 for every time this happened in a written Artal adventure, I'd have $2 now, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, 3, because there's another one.
What's the third one? Because I know what 2 of them are. There's this one. There's. Wait.
Let me send it to you.
Please. Because I'm like,
yeah.
Because I'm thinking, I'm like, I know there's one in relatively new material, so as not to spoil anything. There's this one. Let's take a look here.
Like, this is, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, you're hired by you are hired by an assistant coroner, Layla Amani, from NCPD Precinct 3 of Watson. Because, the title's called American Werewolf in Watson, which for some reason, I feel like that title's supposed to be a spoof of some other title for some reason. I cannot seem to put my finger on it.
Hold on, I'll do Google while you keep going.
But yeah, apparently the party had been called by Amani because this bioexotic that has been fished out of the. Go ahead.
American Werewolf in London is a 1981 movie. That's why. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
This quote-unquote werewolf, which is a really bad body sculpt job, got shot by an off-duty Savoil operative, their security op, and this werewolf, comes back as a Militech vet. And Amani has explained that they don't have enough resources at the NCPD. Go figure, to figure this out. Gosh, where's Bill Mauser when you need him? Oh, wait, Precinct 1. Basically, Amani wants you to figure out who made this, because they're just trying to make this look like people are Amani's being pressured to file this as an accidental shooting, but she feels there's something more to it. So you guys are set off to find out more about who was responsible for this.
Who was Wolf, as it were.
Yeah, which you get to meet one of my favorite medias, which I now include in my setting. A young, aspiring rocker boy known as T-Spooks. She was the person that posted the video about the Watson werewolf. And working with her, you guys will figure out who's responsible for creating said werewolf.
I love that this also mentions that she works in Mega Building H10, which tells us that H10 is most of the way complete by this point.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild. Because they talk about, we'll probably, that's interesting, actually. Diamond,
Yeah,
this one fits into our chronology, which we're going to talk about in part 2 of this episode. So this is sneak peek.
How so?
Because in Agents of Desire, it talks about how the mega building in Watson is still going up.
See, I wonder if she's working on a lower floor.
It's possible. I think you could interpret it either way, but we'll talk about that.
But we also know that these are set in October. So
exactly.
And from what the weather seemed like during Agents of Desire, it seemed like it was more in the spring.
Yep.
But yeah,
that's fun.
But you get to meet some awesome people. But also you get to. But we learn of an interesting treat. Cough Pop Sundae. It's a concoction of kibble, ersatz coffee, and hydrogenated oil creme.
Yeah, hydrogenated oil creme, my favorite.
Delicious. Sounds
delectable.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Hydrogenated oil is arguably my favorite part of Halloween.
But then you get to also meet some other awesome people, such as a racer gang. We have nomad packs, but we also have racer gangs. Racer gangs? Or what do they refer to? Go gang? No, Go gangs are.
Go gangs are they're Go gangs are, to an extent, they're like racer gangs.
Okay. Yeah. Small Go gang. Yep.
Yeah.
With a Rob Zombie reference of the Dragula Racers, which honestly, I want to include them into my setting a little more. I just gotta figure out how to. But one of their leaders, I kind of relate to her a little bit, just a little bit with the way she's presented in here. It's checks out. And of course, you you get to see what might be a streamer's worst nightmare. I'll throw that out there. But with that, I think Melissa Wong delivered really, really well on these 3 stories. What about you, Emmerron? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Seeing how this is your half of the episode, like what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when these came out, and I mean, even to a certain extent, still today, one of the biggest, not necessarily downsides, but I would say like one of the biggest things I think holding back more people from converting to Cyberpunk Red as a main game is just how little pre-written material the game has, right? When you compare it up against others that kind of are in the TTRPG space. Because now, as of this month now, we have 6 adventures in Hope Reborn that you have to play end to end for them to make sense. Yep. You've got 9 in Street Stories, so that's 15 so far, right, between those 2. We've got the data pack, which has, I believe,
pulling that up right now,
3 or 4. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4.
Let's see, it has Digital Divas, Burning It Down. It has Don't Fear the Reaper, Hilaria 2045, Snuff, and I think Precious, is it Precious Cargo? I'm trying to think what the name of the one is where you go out after the Delta Jock.
Cargo Race is that one.
Yeah, Cargo Race.
So it's 5.
Precious Cargo. And
there are really
Thrill
5?
Kill. Thrill Kill. I haven't gotten to run Thrill Kill yet. I really want to at some point. It looks so much fun.
Hold on. Wait.
Basically, you're chasing after these bikers who are going around just killing people while fucking going high speed around the neighborhood.
I know what it is, but I'm just like, wait a minute. There are 6 adventures in there? No way. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yeah, shit. I underestimated that. Okay. So that's 21. Plus the core rule book, I believe, has an additional 3 in it. Which I'm gonna confirm.
Let me have a look. Yep.
Yeah.
Because we got Wood Pirates, Smash the Box, and The Big Break.
Right. Okay. So that's 24 plus
the incident.
The incident in Danger Gal, which is 25.
Red Chrome Cargo.
It's 26. These 3 make up to 29. And then we've technically now got Karaoke Night, because you could run that even with Core Red. So that's 30. Yep. And then the jacket is there. That's true.
Hold on one moment. We're forgetting about a very important.
The Jumpstart Kit was what I was getting to next, which is 4 of them. There are 4 in there. Which brings us to a total of 31 plus 4 is 35. So 35 is actually not that bad now. That's more than I thought. I always think the data pack only had like 3 or 4 in it, not
they have like
6.
3. Data pack has like 3 like really notable ones, which is the 2 for Reaping the Reaper and Hilaria 2045.
Yeah, and all of those, fun enough, like all of those, if you guys want to run Tales of the Red, like either book, I highly recommend getting a copy of the data pack, because both of those things matter. It really is. And Snuff's a great adventure. I will say that right up front. Snuff is one of the most underrated adventures that we probably have for the game. It's the one that I hear the least about, but there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with that adventure. Thrill Kill's just a lot. Thrill Kill and Hilaria suffer from the same problem, which is both of them are extremely like chaotic. So you have to like track a lot more with those adventures than you would with your standard like Red Chrome Cargo gig or any of these that we just talked about that are in the Halloween Screamsheets. But to go back to what I was saying, because this came out before we had the CEMK, before we had Hope Reborn, and as such, this was like, it was big because I think like having some free adventures. Oh, and we did forget getting paid though, of the adventures that we have written. Getting paid is its own thing. So 36.
Yeah, easy mode.
Yep. So with that in mind, like there are a lot of adventures for Red. There's certainly enough material for you to like get an idea of your own, but I think that sometimes Red relies too heavily on the fact that GMs can write their own material. There's definitely a brand of GM that just like, yeah, I just want to like run what's been written for me, right?
Yeah.
Which of course is like, there's nothing wrong with that. I want to say that right up front. There's nothing wrong with that. This game is easier to write for than any other game that I've played probably. Aside from like maybe the Borg games. The Borg games are just, they're ruthlessly chaotic in the simplicity that they are.
Wall.
Yeah, throw dice at wall, see what happens is the mantra of the Borg games. But for Cyberpunk Red specifically, it relies a lot more on like you, the GM, being willing to improvise heavily on what happens. Even in the written adventures, there's quite a few of them that are very, very ad hoc in the way that they approach things. And, like even some of the stuff that is written, like one of the common criticisms I've heard about Street Stories, and I know Diamond, I think even we've talked about it on here before, is that Street Stories has a lot of adventures that they don't set up particularly great in terms of like, this is where you come into this is the fixer that contacts you for the gig. There's some of that. There's like some weird uncertainties. Like one of the gigs in there that's probably the most guilty of this is Night at the Opera.
Yes.
Because you just kind of are like, yeah, so here's the gig. And it's like, where did I get that from?
Into your lap.
Yeah, like who? Who gave me this gig?
Yeah, where there's that one. Also, Bathed in Red can be a little bit hard to set up as well. If you don't have the right, if you don't have the right lead up to it, because Bathed in Red really feels like that end, either like end of campaign or like major midway. This is a very defining point in your adventure. Whereas others, like I feel like Agents of Desire is not a bad one to pick up off of.
Well, Agents of, like, any of them in the book that's set up, like, this is the contact you're meeting for the gig. The moment you have a contact, it's set up. Like, you really don't need more than that, right? You just need to know who's the contact, where am I meeting them, and as long as I have that information, like, we can move ahead. But it's weird because the way that Night at the Opera sets it up feels very, like, almost, like, even the way it closes itself is very, like, film noir, which is, I get that's kind of the vibe you're going for, is a like film noir vampire flick in feel, but I think it does too much to write that gig like a movie script and not enough to write it like a tabletop adventure. So like there's definitely there are some issues with that. So all of that to say that I think the game even now will benefit from having more pre-written material. I think that these were important though, because these require zero money for you to get a hold of them. Like some free adventures are always going to be good. The fact that if you have easy mode, this Red Chrome Cargo in the core rulebook, that's maybe what I was doing my math based on, because I think I've mentioned this before in a video. If you have Red Chrome Cargo, this, the core rulebook, and easy mode, you have, I believe, 10 adventures between just the core rules and the free stuff, which is, that's pretty good, right? Like, that's pretty solid. You have tons to work with there, at least, so that you're not like horribly, or no, I might be counting. Hold on, let me redo the math, because you've got what, 3 in the core rulebook, or was it 4? 3 or 4 in the core rulebook.
You have 3 in the core rulebook.
3 in the CRB.
Red Chrome Cargo.
Red Chrome Cargo is 4. This is 3 more. And then
Night.
Karaoke Night. and easy mode.
Easy mode, yeah.
9. So you have 9 now, like with karaoke
And
night included.
Also, of course, like, yes, pre-written material from Artal would be great. And I know we are kind of, we're starting to leak over an hour. Oh, well. Thanks to, like the experienced GMs that are out there, some of us do produce some forms of pre-written material, such as like over at Gen Con, if you were one of the lucky few that got to show up for it, you got pay to win with Emmerron. And then also, of course, I just dropped mine recently, Hungry for Violence, which pay to win is a full-length adventure. Hungry for Violence is a scream sheet.
Yeah. Well, and I've got 1 or 2 scream sheets drifting around there. One of them is more polished than the other. Jackpot's a little more polished. Vendit Heist was literally a demo for me to be like, hey, like, here's how you write a gig, but I have plans to polish that one in the future, I think, just to bring it up to the standard of the other stuff I've done, because I would like to have that, like, as high quality as the other stuff for people to run that. But no, I think that the community does a good job filling the void. But there is an obvious variance in quality when you compare it to something that Artal has managed, right? That's not always a bad thing. I will say that first and foremost. Like, certainly I'm very proud of what I've made. I would like to think that it's up to the same standards. But I'm also heavily biased, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm not. And I would argue that the stuff I've read from Diamond is also up to that same standard. But not every GM who's written something for Red has the same grasp on the rules. Like, I've read some that are written where they're like, yeah, I'm going to give like 10,000 eddies as a reward here. And I'm like, no, you're not. Not for the gig you're proposing. You're not. No way.
Like 10,000 eddies to 5 people? Like everyone gets paid $2,000 out of it? Or
even if it was that, it would be too much for some of the stuff that I've seen. Like that, but I believe one of them I read was like, yeah, everyone gets 10,000 a piece. And I'm like, no, they don't.
Oh!
No, they don't. No way. Even in my season finale for Neon Inferno, knowing that the players probably wouldn't get a chance to spend the money, like, I didn't even offer them an award that high. Now they did find a way to hack bang me, but that's a different thing entirely, right? I nearly had Nyla get his brain eaten alive for that at the end. So that's a very different story. But
I was just more leveling the playing field, resetting the economy.
Right.
Everyone that, Nicholas Stimmy, as Nyla put it. But also, I suppose in the case of pre-writtens, I'm going back and I'm doing some reconsiderations as I'm writing, a full-length heist. Now that I've gotten a good look at like how it's done in Tales of the Red, I might change my approach. But Catching a Master Case is the name of this adventure.
I like it. But yeah, I think that these are, to summarize my thoughts on the Halloween scream sheets, because I know I tangentialized just a little bit there. I think they're very good. I think, honestly, all 3 of them are quality adventures. I think that for the Werewolf in Night City case, like the Werewolf in Watson, I think that has the potential to take more than a single session even, potentially, depending on how your players chew the fat. So, like, that's always good. I always like it when scream sheets are bigger than the sum of their parts in that way, because I think that it really showcases, that's honestly, scream sheet design is part of the reason why I got so into Red when I was a new GM, because it just made me realize exactly how bare bones an adventure could be. Because I've come from D&D before that as my only reference point. And seeing that, like, oh yeah, here you need, like, here's your book, GM. It's 20 pages long, and you're gonna need all of them. And I'm like, ooh, okay, well, that's fun. But these are like, okay, cool. Here's a page you hand out to the players. Here's the, like, 2 to 3 paragraphs you read to the players so they know what's going on. And then the rest of this page and maybe a little bit on the next page is all the information you, the GM, need to run this, plus like maybe a stat block out of the core rulebook or something. And it's like, that's it. And I'm like, that's incredible. I love that mission design can be that simple. And I think having a few more like this that really showcase the strength of that format without asking a player new to the game to go out of their way to spend money to access adventures is never, ever, ever a bad move. I think that having more free adventures, even if I know it takes development time, it takes editing, it does all of that, it is a worthwhile investment, though, I think. For the longevity of the game, I think that it's an excellent idea, and these are very well written. Melissa Wong should be extremely proud of what she made with this. Very, very good stuff.
Well, I think it's time to put on our. I never got like a tinfoil hat prop for my model, but I think it's time to conspire.
Oh boy.
So,
I'm working on it. Just a second. I lost all my hair for this. All right, beautiful. So, chat, if you want to understand why I'm putting this on, we're gonna go to Diamond's channel. If you're here on YouTube, that is, watching this after we've recorded it. We're going to go talk over there now about some theory shit, and it's going to be fun. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, because everyone else, you're sticking around, you're hanging out, it's going to be a good time. But for those of you on YouTube, if you do want to watch the second part of the episode, it is down below in the links. You can just click down there, you'll get connected to it, and you'll get to see our lovely faces over there talking about some very conspiratorial, not at all confirmed by anyone but us, sort of information. So we hopefully will see you over there. And for this half of the episode, I hope all of you have a wonderful morning, evening, or afternoon wherever you're in the world. Stay healthy, stay safe. And until we see you next time, peace.
Bye-bye.